Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and a quiet river, there lived a man named Elias. Elias was a kind and hard-working man, but he feared change more than anything in the world. He liked his routines, the same path to the market, the same meals at the same time, the same conversations with the same friends. To Elias, change was like a storm, unpredictable and dangerous. He believed that if he held tightly to what he knew, he would always be safe. One autumn evening, as Elias sat by the fire, his oldest friend, Marcus, came to visit. Marcus was a traveler, a man who had seen many lands and lived many lives. He noticed the worry in Elias's eyes and asked what troubled him. Elias sighed and confessed, "I fear the season's changing. Winter is coming, and with it, cold and darkness. I wish things could stay as they are, warm and familiar." Marcus smiled gently and said, "Elias, change is not the enemy. It is the way of life. The trees do not fear losing their leaves, for they know spring will come again. The river does not resist the rocks in its path. It flows around them and grows strong." Elias frowned. "But what if the change brings suffering? What if I lose what I love?" Marcus nodded. "It is natural to fear the unknown. But tell me, my friend, has anything in your life ever stayed the same?" Elias thought for a moment. His parents had grown old. His childhood home had been rebuilt. Even the market had changed its layout over the years. "No," he admitted, "nothing stays the same." "Exactly," said Marcus. "Change is the only constant. The question is not how to stop it, but how to move with it, how to embrace it instead of fearing it." Elias was silent for a long time. Then he asked, "How do I do that?" Marcus leaned forward. "First, remember that change is not good or bad. It simply is. We give it meaning. If you see it as loss, it will hurt. If you see it as growth, it will teach you. Second, trust yourself. You have survived every change in your life so far. You are stronger than you think. And third, find the gifts." That night, Elias lay awake, thinking about Marcus's words. The next morning, he walked to the riverbank and watched the water flow. Instead of fearing the coming winter, he tried to see its beauty, the crisp air, the quiet snowfall, the warmth of a fire. Slowly, he began to understand. Days turned into weeks, and winter arrived. At first, Elias struggled. The cold bit his skin, and the short days felt lonely. But then he noticed something. The villagers gathered closer, sharing stories and food. The snow-covered hills shimmered under the moonlight. He learned to knit by the fire, a skill he had never tried before. When spring came, Elias was different. He no longer clung to the way things were. He welcomed the new season with curiosity. He planted a garden, something he had always thought was too much work. He even traveled to the next village, a place he had avoided because it was unfamiliar. Years passed, and Elias became known as the wisest man in the village, not because he knew everything, but because he accepted the flow of life. When others feared change, he would tell them the same words Marcus once told him. Change is not the enemy, it is the way of life. One evening, a young woman came to Elias, her face filled with worry. "My family is moving far away," she said. "I don't want to go. I'm afraid." Elias smiled. "I once felt the same," he said. Then he told her his story, how fear had kept him small, and how embracing change had set him free. "You do not know what awaits you," he said, "but that does not mean it will be bad. Trust yourself. Look for the gifts. And remember, even the river must change its path to reach the sea." The young woman wiped her tears and nodded. She still felt afraid, but now she felt something else too, hope. And so the village learned from Elias, just as he had learned from Marcus. They understood that change was not something to resist, but something to move with, like a dance. Some changes brought joy, others brought sorrow, but each one shaped them, made them wiser, deeper, kinder. And Elias? He lived many more years, through many more seasons. He never stopped fearing change entirely. That was human. But he no longer let fear rule him. Instead, he greeted each new turn in the river of life with open arms, knowing that the journey itself was the destination. The end